Hello and happy extended Black History Month. That's right, we're extending it because 28 days ain't enough. And you might be thinking, but hey, March is Women's History Month. You're right. So Black women get twice the recognition. Shout out to Demi.
Hey!
And welcome to a very regal episode of the Creative Differences Podcast. I'm Dallas, and today I'm going to list a few of the story beats that Coming to America shares with Wedding Crashers. It's more than you think.
Hi, I'm Gabby, and I love how extra this movie is. Really
Okay.
appreciate it.
I'm Colin, and I think I've seen Wedding Crashers, but I don't remember it if I have. I mean, to me, this movie was like, we'll get to that, but like the story of this movie was like, I've seen this shit before, but Wedding Crashers was not what I was expecting.
Yeah, I don't think you'd like it, but you're going to find out some things about it today. Anyway, before we travel to Zamunda, please like and subscribe because it's extended Black History Month, and you should celebrate by supporting Black podcasts. Today,
True.
we're talking about Coming to America. That's why we're saying all this
Yay!
nonsense.
Which is going to
Yes.
be confusing because isn't
Is
the
it?
second one, doesn't it sound exactly the same when
Yes,
It's coming to America.
yes. You emphasize the two, and you
you
do this with your hands.
Yeah,
Coming to America. Anyway,
They saw an opportunity and took it. They were like,
Yeah. as they should. Marketing, branding, laziness. Colin,
Me.
do you remember the first time you watched this movie?
Yes.
Was it like in the last few days?
Yes. It was 3 days ago.
That's
That's about as far back as my memory goes.
yes.
Do you remember the first time you watched this movie?
Yeah, it was literally today.
Oh, beautiful. And I watched it for the first time on Saturday because I'm an irresponsible Black person.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Are you telling me I'm the only one who had seen it before this?
I'm
Yes.
sorry
I
to
think
me.
so. I've always wanted to see it. I feel like this is the kind of movie that my family and I would have watched in the 90s. Like, it was like right up our alley. It felt like something I would have watched like on cable, but
I could see
I
that.
guess I never got to it.
But yes, I let my people down. To me, I apologize to you and half of Colin.
I apologize to you, my
Right.
friends,
You're fine. You don't have the obligation that
and half of
you didn't
Colin.
have to see it.
I'm not going to apologize. It's fine.
You're fine. You're fine. It's fine.
I saw Black Panther like 5 times. That's got to give me something.
That's true. But how many other? Never mind. We're not gonna do that. This movie, the guys who made it, it was directed by John Landis, who did some stuff, and it was written by David Sheffield and Barry W. Blaustein. And they wrote Boomerang, the Nutty Professor movies, and are going to write Coming to America.
Well, already wrote.
Well, they already
yeah.
wrote
Oh yeah, it's
Tech
coming out
movies,
like
it does exist.
tonight.
it.
So yeah, they wrote Coming to America and Coming to America.
Oh God.
Yes. And you brought up Black Panther. In a post-Black Panther world, I can't help but wonder what this movie would be if it weren't written and directed by all white dudes.
Ooh.
Because it doesn't really feel like all white people made it.
It doesn't.
And I feel like Eddie Murphy had a lot to say.
To be fair, Eddie Murphy came up with the story for it. So
Yeah, so it's just he hired
Oh.
John Landis.
But it's
Hmm.
more like the production design of it. But the story makes sense.
What?
What?
Or I'm talking more like
she's saying what the difference would be if Black people had been like completely in charge of the film rather than just white people. So if the production design of Zamunda would be different.
Oh, that's
Not
what
that
she's
it
saying.
matters
Yeah.
because everybody was dressing up like they were from Zamunda when Black Panther came out. So
That's true.
Yeah.
So much fun. Anyway, the movie stars Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, James Earl Jones, John Amos, Madge Sinclair, a bunch of other people, and like some surprising cameos.
yeah. So many cameos.
Samuel Jackson before he was Samuel Jackson, and Cuba Gooding Jr. Did you guys see him?
Yes, I did.
No.
In the barber chair.
He's just a kid getting his hair cut in the barber
Yeah.
chair. He has no lines,
Oh.
which is wild. But I guess
Yes.
it's 88.
also Vondi Curtis Hall, I can't remember. I think this was his first movie. And you guys will recognize him from Daredevil as Ben Urich.
Hey, wow. Where was he in this movie?
He was the guy who he meets at the basketball game who's super excited to see the Prince of Zamunda.
Really?
Oh my God. I loved that guy.
That's oh my god. Time. I guess those things are like 30 years apart. Goodness gracious. I feel old and I wasn't even born when this movie came out.
Same.
Oh yeah, the summary. Let's do that. In case you don't know what this movie's about because you are an irresponsible Black person or you just never saw it. An extremely pampered African prince travels to Queens, New York, and goes undercover to find a wife that he can respect for her intelligence and strong will. I can get down with that. Colin,
Me.
elaborate on what you said earlier about the story.
I don't know. I feel like it was fine, but I think I had seen it a number of times before, so it wasn't that interesting. Rich person or monarch goes undercover to find somebody who loves them for who they are and not because of their wealth, and they get found out, and that puts a wrench into things because why didn't you tell me you were rich? And it's like, because I didn't want you to know that I was rich, and yada 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 yada. Yeah.
Yada, 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 yada. It's interesting. I see what you're saying. And that's the kind of the thing that I didn't grow up watching a lot of movies that came out before me.
Mm.
So you kind of lose that sense of even when they did something, not first, but before a lot of the stuff you see later. Like when I first saw the Terminator movies, I wasn't blown away by the action because I had seen action movies from our time. So it's like, oh man, this would have been crazy in the 80s. I was like, I saw John Wick yesterday, so I'm not really tripping right now.
Although I saw, no,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Yes,
But it's like I try not to hold that against the movies that are way older because I'm like, yeah, you know, when you made the movie, you weren't just doing something that we had seen a bunch of times. Freaking Wedding Crashers. Gabby, what do you think about the story?
I really liked it. I really liked Akeem's character. I mean, we'll get to it, but I liked the simplicity of the story. I liked it. It was a classic story.
I dig it.
Like the main character. I think the difference between this movie and another royal kind of movie is that in this movie, the royal character, while he was spoiled, really did like embrace life as somebody that's working class as opposed to looking down on it, which is what I really liked about it was that like Akeem, like he was dignified and polite and kind and all those things to everybody around him, even though he was this ridiculously pampered prince. So I think that's why I did like this story arc, even though I've seen it before more than others, because in others I feel like they do emphasize how spoiled somebody is, but like as their personality.
Well, I feel like that has to come down to the framing of it, because I think a lot of times in these stories what it is like the parent will say you have to go experience life as a peasant, yada yada. So it's like they're forced into it, whereas this one, because he chose it, he was more willing to embrace it.
That's fair. But I did like that aspect of it.
I do like recently Jermaine Fowler did an interview because he's in the second movie that's coming out. I like the way that he described it because I had never thought about it before. Is that I think he described it as a black fairy tale. And that's what the story is. It is very much just a fairy tale at its basis. You know, that's where we get this tale from, these royal people who come out to and pretend to be peasants for however long. These are like classic fairy tale tropes that we're used to seeing. And I had never thought about it until I saw that Jermaine Fowler said that.
I like that. That's a really good way to look at it. Before we exit our story beats, I need to give the people what I promised. And here is a list of things that Wedding Crashers did that's pretty much just in Coming to America. The protagonist lies about who he is and meets a super nice girl, all the while dragging along his best friend who doesn't want to be there. Super nice girl has a wild sister who gives someone a secret hand job in front of family and hooks up with best friend. Nice girl is with a terrible controlling guy who ends up announcing their engagement without nice girl's knowledge. Nice girl sees protagonist as a good friend, even though he's plotting on her from the jump. Their friendship grows. He continues to lie to her. Nice girl starts to fall for protagonist because he's not a total dickhead. She kisses protagonist even though she hasn't technically broken up with dickhead. And then I forgot that I was writing these things down and I stopped counting them, but I'm sure there are more. And I like Wedding Crashers. I want to put that out there. I'm not accusing them of anything. I just like rom-coms are very overlappy. But let's move on to characters. Yeah, Gabby, I said it. Rom-coms suck. I'm just kidding.
That's me.
She's about to run out.
I said I was kidding, so that means it's not mean.
About to get
If you say you're
curb
kidding,
stomped.
you can say whatever you want. Akeem, let's talk about him because he's great.
Oh, he's so great.
Yeah. First off, I love that he has the same parents as Simba.
Oh.
Shout out to James Earl Jones, Matt Sinclair, Mufasa Sarabi. Yeah, I like that even though he's completely pampered and by all reasons should be super spoiled, he's not. He's just inexplicably not spoiled.
He's just so
and
nice.
a great guy. He's like the nicest person Eddie Murphy has ever played.
Yeah. And like the Nutty Professor?
Maybe, I don't
He
remember.
was so super sweet. I really like the Nutty Professor.
That sounds right.
But yes, and he's so nice and humble and just like Lisa like mentioned, like I've never seen somebody mop a floor with so much like pride for their work. And he could have been creepy at any point. He could have decided he wanted
I would
to...
argue that he is creepy when he's mopping the floor, facing one direction, smiling, taking up like half his face,
Fair.
just going back and forth. That's terrifying.
That is fair. Okay, fair.
It's a different kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
more like an endearing creepy, or like he's socially
Yeah.
awkward. He hasn't realized it's weird yet. Like,
Mm.
I just like him so much. He's so sweet. I was expecting him to be like a spoiled prince because, that's kind of the trope for these kinds of style of movies. I was expecting him to be kind of a jerk, and he's just like a sweet, humble dude the whole movie. What a nice.
Yeah.
He's just so nice. I like him.
Also, like in terms of the story, I think it helps because Eddie Murphy movies can get real goofy and really, really like over the top because he plays a bunch of characters and most of them are usually.
Speaking of the fact that he plays multiple characters in most of his movies, this was the first time he ever did that in any of his films. This was the beginning of that.
Oh, that's dope.
This is the beginning of that pattern of his signature.
But it was like subtle. It was like really subtle. It wasn't because usually you're like, that's Eddie Murphy, like really quick. But like, I think I only caught one of the characters. The other ones I did not catch.
I do want to come back to that because there's at least one, but I was like, what? But yeah. So the fact that Akeem is so reserved and like nice and calm, and he's our protagonist, you don't get too overwhelmed by the Eddie Murphy-ness of everything because it's not like Norbit or just one of those like, all right, we're relaxed because we spend most of our time with Akeem. So yeah, he's gonna go to the barbershop and Eddie Murphy's gonna yell at himself in a bunch of different voices, which I think is hilarious. But when it's mostly Akeem, you don't have to worry about, okay, I'm getting kind of tired of you screaming in different voices. But like you said, they did a very good job with just changing his look. The singer, I think his name is Randy Watson. If I didn't recognize his voice, I would not have known that was him. Like,
Same.
they did so good. I was like, he's talking, and I'm like, is that Eddie Murphy? But yeah, they did a lot with his face. I'm like, okay.
I had to look
Right.
that one up because I was like, is that actually him? Or did they just use his voice for him? No, it was him.
Right. That was
Yeah.
crazy. And Arsenio Hall plays like 4 people
He
too.
does, which I really liked as well. And
Yeah.
I think I only caught one of, like, could only, like, really, no, 2 of them. But, like, that one also, they did a good job where I was just like, wow. Like, they're just, like, hiding. Because I don't think they ever did it as subtly in any other Eddie Murphy movie after that. Like, after that, it was, like, clear. Like, that character is Eddie Murphy.
Arsenio Hall, one of his characters is credited as Extremely Ugly Girl
Oh.
because it's just Arsenio Hall. Like, they didn't do anything to change his face.
They just put some lipstick on him.
And like a wig, and they're just like, all right, yeah, I guess he'd probably be an ugly girl.
That switch was super obvious because it was the only time where Arsenio Hall was on one side of the table and like Eddie Murphy was on the other side of the table. And I was like, why? Oh, that's why. Oh, so good.
Colin,
Me.
did you like any of these characters?
Not really.
You didn't even like Sarabi?
I mean, she wasn't in it much.
Yeah, I don't. It's not her name in the movie, but you know.
Was her name? Yeah, it was given.
Yeah, it was in there
I
somewhere.
don't remember. I think he says it. I think he introduces her at I can't remember her name, but the dad when they meet the dad. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Yes, I don't remember how to say her name, so I'm not going to because that just feels like something I shouldn't do if I don't know how to do it.
That's fair.
Also, Garcelle, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she's Haitian, so I'm sure
I believe it's
Creole of
Garcelle
some sort?
Bouvet.
Bouvet. Yes, Bouvet.
Or Bouvet.
One of those. I didn't expect her to see her here, and she's just one of the flower girls.
Oh,
Are that what they're
okay.
called?
She's in
But
the
yes,
sequel
for those
too.
who don't know, yes, I mean she's probably gonna have more to do and say because she's famous now. But yes, for those who don't know, who didn't grow up watching the Jamie Foxx show, among other things, she is in Spider-Man: Homecoming. She's Liz's mom, aka the Vulture's wife.
Yes.
I like doing that thing where you tell a general audience where they would know a black person who's famous for black people stuff already. I just want to have a whole episode where we're
It's
like,
true because she's
so
black.
me and Demi
people
know this
famous.
person from this, and this. The rest of you, yeah. When you're black people famous, it's like, yeah, we Jamie Foxx show, anything else,
Journey Smollett's like
but
that
also
too.
Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Roll
it's like
bounds. Know her from that.
oh yeah,
Or like I feel like
It's like-
Latinos like because black culture will bleed into us sometimes too. Like I know some of the things, but I don't know all of the things. Like So,
Fair.
oh no.
Yeah, because for me,
Okay, she's back.
Journey,
She's
my
good.
first thought on Journey would have been Eve's Bayou or Full House.
Oh, Full House, yeah. And for me, it's probably Full House and Roll Bounce.
Which is funny because Full House is the widest direction we could have taken this conversation.
It's true. But she was a little
But
baby
also-
in it. She was little.
She was
And she
adorable.
was so
But,
good. Oh, she was great.
Before we move on, I just want to bring up one of our favorite people and who I wish was a close personal friend of the show, Regina King. On her SNL monologue, she talked about all the things you would know her from. And she was like, if you're white, you know me from Watchmen. I was like, I'm so glad she's white people famous now.
I know, me too. I love her so much. That was a great line.
Before
Yeah,
we move
that was
on from the
amazing.
characters, I do want to ask you guys, I guess, what you guys think of Lisa, seeing as she is the love interest in the movie.
Oh God, we didn't talk about Lisa.
She was good. She's, rom-com nice girl who has to have an evil boyfriend.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that, I really don't like. Gabby, I'm sorry to attack your favorite genre of things. It's just they pair this girl who seems to be the sweetest girl in the world with a demon. And it's just like,
Well, they don't always.
there's no...
I feel like that's well, because there was a period in the 90s where they didn't do that. They would pair the woman with a perfectly nice man, and it just wouldn't be the
Mhm.
right perfectly nice man for her. And they would break up, and he would understand, and then she would run off into the sunset with the other dude.
Yeah, that dude is usually James Marsden, right?
No, I was thinking like 90s. I was thinking like Tom Hanks, like Sleepless in Seattle and stuff. But
gotcha.
like, yeah, they used to do that where like, and now it's come back where they just put like somebody with like a demon person and they're wrong. And like, I just feel like it's boring. Go back to mixing it up a little bit.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't even say that Daryl is a demon. I would say that he is Akeem's foil in the sense that they are both princes to an empire. He's just the spoiled version of that. He's not cheating on her or anything like that, but he's not selfless at all and he's not humble.
I have a couple counter arguments there. The first thing he does when he sees Hakeem is throw a milkshake at him and say, yo, take care of that.
Oh, that's right. And he also makes a bunch of African jokes to him as well, too.
He's also overtly racist when they go to the game.
That's true.
He's a bad person.
Well, I feel like to underscore Demi's point here, like the first real like comparison we see between them is they're at that public event, right? And Daryl is sitting down and Hakeem is sitting down, and then they pass out the collection plate and Daryl just passes it, and Hakeem has Semi give him a giant wad of cash and puts it in the thing. And then like that's the first. So then from there, it's just like whenever Hakeem does something nice, Daryl isn't going to do something nice, or Daryl's not going to do something nice, but Hakeem's going to do something nice. So like, I feel like that's fair. Like Demi's point is very fair.
Yeah, I don't think that he was going to like chop her up or anything. I'm just saying that in terms of being a good person, he's not a good person. He's racist. He's mean to everyone who's not Lisa. Also, he announces their engagement without talking to her, which is
Yeah, that's wild.
different kinds of problematic. So like, because you have to think about it like this. Before the events in the movie, these people were together, presumably for a while. This person didn't become bad in the movie. So it's just like, how does this nice person end up with and tolerate this terrible person up to the point where the movie starts and they're like, oh yeah, you suck. I feel like this type of guy is not going to be nice usually. But yeah, that's just the thing. It's worse in Wedding Crashers because Bradley Cooper's character is evil.
Yeah.
But this isn't about those whites. Moving on.
Christopher Walken.
That's a great movie. I like that movie too. But Black History Month.
Onward.
Yes. So Gabby, you're talking about the production design and black people being great.
Yes. Okay. At the beginning, I was like, damn, like this whole like kingdom is so opulent and like extra. I love it. Like the ceremony of it all. And then I realized that the ultimate point of that was just to show how awful Queens is. Like when they get there, they're just like, ugh. Cause like they really underscored how like fabulous their lives in Zamunda are. But because I didn't know that they were, I completely forgot the name of the movie once like I was in the beginning of the movie, just because I was just like taken aback by just like the opulence and the like extra of it all. Like when they were like throwing the flower petals in front of him, I was like, this is amazing. And I completely forgot that they were gonna go to America. Like I was just like, wow, are we gonna be here the whole time? No, we're not. But yeah, the production design for me was awesome. And it did have me wondering though, like what would this have been like if it wasn't handled by white people, if it was handled by people of color. like the entire thing. Oh, but God, was that amazing. I love Zamunda. And I love that it was that opulent. So when you get to Queens, you're like, wow, this place really does suck. Like holy smokes.
Holy smokes. I haven't heard someone say holy smokes in such a long time.
Gosh. Oh, geez.
Holy
Oh,
smokes.
geez, Rick, man.
Colin,
Me.
say something. What do you think about the looks? The looks and the sounds and the stuff and the things.
There were looks. There were sounds. I mean, I don't. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. I don't know what else you want me to say.
That has been Colin, ladies and
my
gentlemen.
experience watching
Wow.
this movie was I turned it on and I was like, all right, okay. Oh, so this is the kind of comedy that they're going for. All right, not really my thing, but fine. And then I got about an hour and a half in and I was like, oh my God, there's still a half hour left. Why won't it end? So, you know,
Aw.
That sounds about right.
Colin just does not like movies.
that's not true. I like so many movies. Just not the ones
Colin
we
likes
end up
movies.
talking about on this podcast.
That's
For
true.
once, I want to watch something that Colin loves.
Colin likes a different type
We'll
of movie.
see.
Yeah.
Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah, that one does slap.
Yes.
It's funny. I was gonna default to Colin likes Japanese movies, which I know as a
Which-
blanket statement is
Yeah, no,
true.
that's not.
But
Hmm.
I like some of Colin's favorite movies have been
This is true.
Japanese. Anyway, Zamunda's great. OG Wakanda,
Yeah.
at least in like visual print, because Wakanda came first in comics, but people don't be reading. Also, Soul Glow, the song, iconic artifact in Black history. I just love it so much. And I heard that song so much before even seeing the movie, but I knew it from the movie. And it's just so great.
It's true.
And I love it.
I was like, wow, this song is going on for a while.
Demi, do you know who sings that song?
I can look it up. I do want to say though, when the movie started, I was so expecting The Lion Sleeps Tonight to start playing
That's fair.
Why?
because it was using
Africa.
boy, boy, boy,
True.
boy. That's how the movie starts.
Got it.
To me, had an actual answer. I just had it Africa.
Yeah, because they sampled that song.
Colin. While Demi looks up the person who
does that
sings
like
Soul Glow, so we
Inspector
can give them
Gadget?
their Africa. Colin.
Oh my God.
Colin.
Yes.
Colin. I'm going to you first because I feel like your answer is going to be short.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about this movie? Sounds about right. Gabby.
Oh, I like a key.
Hold on, I found the artist.
Oh,
It was sung by somebody named Christopher Max.
Christopher Max. Shout out to you. You should be in museums. Gabby, Akeem is your favorite thing.
Yeah, he was just so
Favorite
sweet
part.
and so nice. And I was like, aw, even if he wasn't a prince, I would like him. He was just so sweet.
I feel it. He's great.
It's just like a nice subversion to the trope. Like he was a nice man.
I like that. I respect that. My favorite thing about this movie is just Black royalty. It's so much fun to see. This movie and Black Panther are 30 years apart? And we didn't get a whole lot in between. Yeah, we just didn't because white people run everything.
My favorite thing is the behind the scenes story about Eddie Murphy and John Landis getting into a fight. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please just Google search Eddie Murphy Playboy interview coming to America.
It's wild. And the look on Gabby's face means she doesn't know, so I can't wait to tell her after we stop recording.
I don't know. He's right. I don't know. I don't know. But I want to hear the cheese man.
I will say this.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
surprising that this movie actually finished being made. And it's also very surprising that Eddie Murphy decided to work with John Landis again on another movie like 4 years later.
He did?
He did. They did Beverly Hills Cop 3 together.
I didn't even know that.
Okay. Wait, when did
That's
Boomerang
crazy.
come out?
I don't know.
Okay, never mind. We'll move on. We can move on.
Boomerang was 1992.
Oh, 92.
Ah.
Yo, this is just like kind of a tangent. This is the second week in a row we talked about Landis. Or second episode in a row.
Yeah, it is.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, we gotta stop talking about family.
You know what? We weren't really talking about John Landis. I meant to say we're not going to mention him again, but I needed to talk about that story.
True. And we only brought up Max because we watched that weird Fever Dream movie that he wrote.
Their
Or I
names
watched it.
only come up when we have to mention them as part of the movies themselves.
That's true. And I think we're out of Landis-ese, so next week, don't worry about it. Colin,
Me.
you're not going to watch the next one. I don't need to ask you. Gabby,
Yes.
what are you expecting / what do you want out of the next installment coming to America?
I hope it retains its kind of like what you were mentioning where it's not over the top, I hope it remains like that way. And I hope there's just a lot of opulence and Black excellence. That's what I'm hoping for.
I could not have said it better myself, so I won't.
For those wondering, Coming to America. I want to say Coming to America too. That's not what it is though. Yeah, it's going to be directed by Craig Brewer. It's written by the same writers of the first movie. It's bringing back Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, and Shari Headley. Wesley Snipes is going to be in this one. James Earl Jones is back in this one. John Amos is back in this one. Vanessa Bell Calloway is in this one again. They got Kiki Lanes, who I love from The Old Guard. Jermaine Fowler is in it. Leslie Jones is in it. Tracy Morgan's in it. Tiana Taylor's in it. It's going to be wild, guys. It's going to be a wild ride. For those who don't know who Craig Brewer is, the man directed Hustle and Flow, Dolomite Is My Name,
Ooh, I like that one.
Footloose. He's directed a number of things, and he's pretty good. I just want to say that I'm fully expecting Jermaine Fowler's character to not be Akeem's son. I think he's going to be Semi's son. Only because I can't figure out where in the timeline it would be that Eddie Murphy sleeps with Leslie Jones's character, because he spends the night looking for someone to be his bride or whatever. And the first girl he sees is Lisa at that event, and he's like stuck on her for the whole movie.
Yeah.
Wait, no, don't they go bar hopping for like a few days before they meet her and then they go into the barbershop?
I don't know if it's for a few days. I don't think they really establish how long it is.
Well, they say they've gone to every bar in Queens, so I just assumed it was a decent period of time.
Especially since they were wearing like different clothes, like in different, like in scenes.
But still, he seemed very just hooked on Lisa and nobody else throughout the entirety of the movie. And Semi is Semi,
Okay.
so
That's true.
that's my prediction. I just want it to be on the record in case it actually does happen tomorrow.
All right.
I like that. I'm going to jump on that and then take credit for it if she's right. Anything else you guys want to say about this movie? I like it. Colin doesn't. Gabby does. That's very common here at Creative Differences. I assume Demi likes it.
I do. I semi grew up on it. I knew about it, and then once I was old enough to watch it, I watched it.
Gabby, any final thoughts on this movie?
I'm going to definitely watch it more times. It was really delightful. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's on Amazon Prime.
I like that. Colin, blink twice if you don't want to give your final thoughts on this movie.
I mean, I can't. Now I have to make sure I don't blink again. I can. Like, it was, no, I can. Oh, shit, I blinked. No, now if I did it more than twice, I think it cancels it out.
I don't know what that means.
Anyway, it's a movie.
All right. That's what you want? Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Demi, anything?
Coming to America is a cinematic classic. Literally was talking about it the other day of how many classic movies Eddie Murphy has, and Coming to America came up as one of them. So if you have not seen Coming to America, I would recommend that you go check it out. And as Gabby said, it's on Amazon Prime.
Yes. And I just want to say I apologize again to my people for not having seen this movie until 2021. I have failed you. Anyway, thanks, audience, for listening to all of that. Thank you, Crown Digital, Brandon, and Io for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. As always, thank you, Demi, for editing, putting us on YouTube, and for knowing who Garcelle is, because we share that. Gabby, thank you for enjoying this movie even more than I did. It's kind of your thing. Colin, thanks for turning on your camera.
Yeah.
Because that's a struggle we have to deal with every time we do this. Anyway, audience, what do you think of Coming to America? And are you happy that Black History Month is longer now? Because that's a thing I decided. Gabby gives a thumbs up. She's happy about it. Colin, you happy? Black History Month longer?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it is kind of bullshit that Black History Month is the shortest month. Like, no matter what, even if it's a leap year, it's still at least 1 day shorter. Like, that's some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Though also, I feel like if we're talking about that, we're going to talk about Black history. Like, I'm talking like school wise. Can we talk about more than just like Martin Luther King? Because I feel like we ain't talk about many other Black leaders. Like, they ain't tell us shit about Malcolm X. I had to look that shit up myself.
No, my school was like, there's another guy, but he was bad, so we're not going to talk about him. And they just kept
Pretty
going, and then they ran away. And I was like, what?
That's so funny because we talked about that during the Judas and the Black Messiah review.
We did.
Yeah. Also, I didn't learn about like things like redlining and all that stuff until I took a history class in college. And our teacher was like, yeah, so we're going to cover the basic white man's history. And then I'm going to tell you what was happening with brown and Black people at the same time. And so it gave a lot of context. And I was like, thank you, old white professor. He did contextualize a lot, though. So that was
Shout out to the good ones. Audience, I have a task for you. You guys, do any of you know how many hashtags it takes to make something trend?
I thought that was just based on interaction with a hashtag.
I don't know. I don't know how these things work. I'm not that guy. But we should get extended Black History Month trending. So
Oh, you mean like
everyone
how many
who's listening to
uses?
this. Yeah.
Mm.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, everyone listening, go on Twitter and hashtag extended Black History Month. We're gonna make this a thing because it's been too long. 28 days. It's never been enough.
It's not.
Yeah, speaking of Twitter, you can find us there. Y'all_different. You can also find us on Instagram and Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast. And you can find us on Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC. If I missed any similarities between Coming to America and Wedding Crashers, you can let me know on Twitter and Instagram at a king named Simba.
You can find me, Gabby, on the Instagrams at Stegosaurus.
You can find me on Twitter at Duck McGuck.
You cannot find me. She's in Zamunda. Demi, I wanted you to sing the song. Are you gonna sing the song?
I can't get that high. I just
You heard her try to hit
cannot.
that note.
And I wish I could remember
is
that
okay.
she's your queen so I could sing it obnoxiously.
The song is also great.
She's your
Shout out.
queen.
I was upset because I was like, dang it, this is a song that we should have sung at Dallas and Kayla's wedding, and now it's too late.
Oh.
That's true. I'm
They got
disappointed in all
anniversaries.
of
We
you.
can make it work.
That's true
Or
too.
you could renew your vows or something.
We'll do it. Shout out to Paul Bates, the guy who Oha, who was singing that song. He's great too. But yeah, it's been different. It's been black. It's been excellent. Bye.